We are going to start with grating fresh Parmesan cheese. When melting cheese, you want to stay away from pre-shredded cheese because there are additives to the cheese to keep it from sticking together. Purists will recommend a Parmigiano Reggiano, but if you want to save money, regular Parmesan is fine and about half the cost. This is a 5 to 6 ounce block. Make sure when you're done, you save the rind to use in our sauce later. Next, we are going to slice up our red bell pepper. This can be omitted from the sauce if you don't like them, but it adds a nice sweetness. Start with slicing around the pepper and then cut into thin, long strips. Now it's time for the garlic. I use 3 minced cloves, but adjust to your liking. Generally, when I'm using a recipe, I double the amount of fresh garlic called for, so 3 cloves will already be strong. I highly recommend using a microplane to mince your garlic, but if you don't have one, you can mince your garlic with a knife. Microplanes are one of the handiest tools in my kitchen and gets used regularly. My cloves were beginning to sprout, so I prefer to cut the sprout out. You don't have to, but it can make the garlic bitter. Garlic cloves are just bulbs, and if you want, you can actually plant cloves in the fall, and it will produce a head of garlic in the spring. Before seasoning, make sure to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Also, we want our chicken to sit at room temperature for 15 to 20 minutes before going into a hot pan. To season the chicken, we're going to use salt, pepper, garlic powder, and smoked paprika. I don't measure when I season, just make sure to get a nice coating on each side. Feel free to add to or take away based on what you like. Other options would be oregano, rosemary, thyme, or a lemon pepper seasoning. If you want it a little spicy, add chili powder or cayenne pepper. Throw about a tablespoon of butter into a screaming hot cast iron pan. If you don't have cast iron, then a stainless steel pan is a good substitute, but I would not use a non-stick pan as you won't get a good sear. We're going to sear our chicken for 4 minutes on each side. This will help make a nice crust on the chicken and help keep our chicken from going dry. After 4 minutes, flip the chicken and sear for another 4 minutes. Before going into the oven, get a quick sear on the side of the chicken as well. I prefer to use a thermometer in the chicken while cooking, but if you don't have an oven-safe thermometer, I would recommend 8 to 10 minutes depending on how thick the breast is. What I forgot to show was placing a few thyme sprigs and a tablespoon of butter on each breast before placing into the oven. Now the chicken is in the oven, we can get our pasta and sauce cooking. Make sure to salt your water heavily anytime you cook pasta. To make the base for the sauce, we need to start with a roux. Stove should be on medium-high heat, or a 7 in my case. Place 2 tablespoons of a good quality butter in the pot and melt it down. To that, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour and stir to combine, making sure it is smooth and not lumpy. Throw in your garlic and give it another stir. Now we're going to add about 1 cup of our heavy cream, stirring to combine. Toss in the rind I told you to save earlier, as this will add a richness to the sauce, and stir. Once that comes to a simmer, we're going to add in half of our grated cheese, stirring continually. The sauce will start to thicken very quickly as the cheese melts. Stir in about an 1/8 cup of heavy cream. Add some fresh cracked pepper and stir and add another 1/8 cup of heavy cream, making sure to taste as you go, which is one of the perks of being the chef. Add in about half of your red peppers and stir them in, and reduce your heat to medium. Now add almost all of your remaining cheese, making sure to save some for garnishing when you plate, and pour in a 1/2 cup of heavy cream. This should leave you with about a 1/4 cup of heavy cream if needed later. Once at a simmer, reduce the heat to as low as your stovetop goes. Crack some more pepper in and add a few shakes of basil and stir. You want the sauce to slowly stream off your spoon. Add more heavy cream if needed. Make sure you give your chicken time to rest. Reserve about a cup of pasta water before draining your pasta. Do not rinse it. I did not mention prior, but cook your pasta to 1 minute less than the time stated on the box, as it will finish cooking in the sauce. Make sure to occasionally stir your pasta while it is cooking. Once drained, pour your sauce over the pasta and stir and fold until thoroughly combined. If your sauce is still too thick, stir in your pasta water. Plate your chicken and pasta and crack some fresh pepper over the pasta and sprinkle some remaining cheese over top and enjoy. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment on any suggestions you have for future recipes and hit the like and subscribe button if you enjoyed the content.